We don't let our daughters know, but one day we break their hearts by letting them in on the secret that we kept from them as they pranced around in princess dresses, that they are not and will likely never be safe. At work, at home, in a parking lot, in a medical office, online, in any space they inhabit.
Ladies and gentlemen.
When it was time to do the toasts at the dinner, she decided that she was going to come with a prepared speech. And she appeared nervous to give it because there was footage of her and her husband whispering to each other and him telling her, come on, you got to do it. You're going to be great. And she's like scared and he's like giving her a kiss, like, you can do this. And so she gets up to give a speech that sounds like she wrote it for Speech Class 101, first year at a community college. I don't know who, put a big check on this and said, you go with this, Blake. You give us a speech that gives us a literal definition from the dictionary in the opening. I mean, ouch factor. And then even in the cadence that she gave it, it was very much a rehearsed speech. The feeling was just real clunky, is what I'm trying to say.
In a time where the most valuable currency seems to be anger, it feels like an act of defiance to commune and celebrate all the good that is alive in the world. And the many here tonight who either challenge the systems and or who show us that magic exists in Earth.
So she gets up and she knows that she can't talk about what she wants to talk about, though she alludes to it. She says, there's a lot of things that I could talk about from the last 2 years, but this isn't the right place for it.
Who and what we stand up for and what we stay silent about, what we monetize versus what we actually live, matters. I have so much to say about the last 2 years of my life, but tonight is not the forum.
Yeah, no shit, this isn't the right place for it, Blake. I mean, why are you even mentioning it? We're all wondering why you're here. So maybe don't bring up all of this drama and dirty laundry that you have right now. Like, just don't. But then, just when you're like cringing, thinking, man, I wish I hadn't said that, Blake. I wish you'd talk about something else. She does us one better. And to the point where I'm like, wow, maybe you should have decided to talk about your own personal problem, because the avenue that you've taken in order to try to paint for people an image of you as a victim through the pain of this other story you're going to tell, it's almost worse than if you just decided to take the moment to talk about yourself. She says that the person who has influenced her the most, after she gives us the dictionary definition of what influence is her mother. And she also lets us know that the speech tonight is going to have conversations of trauma in it. And so if you want to just see your way out, she wants you to have that trigger warning. Okay, so this is going to be a traumatic speech.
Before I say more, I want to warn that I will speak about tonight covers trauma, so please feel free to step away if you need.
She then goes on to tell this tale in rather vague terms about how she's been inspired by her mother, who is the sort of person that will call you cackling just to tell you that life is a bowl full of cherries. And don't get too close to her because she'll grab your number and start calling you and leaving you those messages too. But anyway, her mom was her inspiration her whole life, because before Blake was even born, back when her mom had like 3 kids, but not Blake yet, somebody had tried to commit the worst crime against a woman anybody ever could. We don't really get a definition. We're supposed to assume that the mom was assaulted. And it would appear that the assault was so egregious that Blake's mom's life was at stake. Vague terms are used to suggest that, she barely got out alive. But because her mom had been listening to the radio and there was a woman who called in and told a scenario in which she too had been in a dangerous situation and how she got out of it, Blake's mom had this information tucked away in her head. And so because of a woman that Blake's mom would never know, her life was saved. And she utilized the trick that the lady had told her to utilize, and she got out of there free, and she went on to live her life and have Blake. But Blake's whole life has been shadowed by what happened to her mom, and so she's so honored that she gets to be the one to describe to you all her mom's worst moment in life. Because that influenced her mom, and her mom influenced her. So, full circle here. The weirdest part of the speech was when she decided to tell us that we as women all have to carry a torch. And a day will come when you have to sit your daughters down and be like, well, you're effed because you're a woman. And to be perfectly honest with you, you're always in danger. And then Blake goes on to give us a litany of places where you are not safe. You're not safe at home. You're not safe at work. You're not safe emotionally. You're not safe in relationships. You're not safe in friendships. Everyone is out to get you. And Blake's like, there's going to come a day when you have to reveal the truth to your daughters, a truth you never told them when they were twirling around in their princess dresses. But that is that they are not safe in this world.
It's a silent torch of womanhood that we come to know, a pact that privately we must show others how to survive, literally or spiritually. We don't let our daughters know, but one day we break their hearts by letting them in on the secret that we kept from them as they pranced around in princess dresses, that they are not and will likely never be safe, at work, at home, in a parking lot, in a medical office, online, in any space they inhabit, physically, emotionally, professionally. But why does that torch have to be our burden to carry in private? How can we not all agree on that basic human right?
But never underestimate a woman's ability to survive pain. It's so blatantly obvious this whole speech is designed to curate your care and concern for her, that she has, because of the din of her womanhood, now she's had to be put upon by this evil world. If she'd been a man, these last 2 years would have been nothing. It would have just been a stroll in the park. But because she's a woman and the world's against her because of the gender that she has, well, that's just the lot she's had to live. And it stinks. And wouldn't it be nice, she says, if all of us didn't make women carry this silent pain themselves, but help them carry it? Or, Blake, wouldn't it be nice if you came back to reality and realized that if you're a bitch, there's consequences, so maybe don't act like a bitch? Like, that's also an option. Also, if we're going to invite men to help carry the load, why don't we just not be this vicious way that you say? Like, if we're going to make wishes, why don't we just wish the world wasn't the way you say it was? But you know what? It actually isn't the way you say that it is. Why don't you pull this victim hoodwink off your head and get on with it? All right? Like, enough already of acting as though the world is put upon you. And these consequences happen to just be the lot that you've been given because you happen to be a woman? Imagine how weak and ineffectual you would feel if you thought that because you're a woman, you couldn't get ahead. Like, why would you even try? Like, if you sat your daughters down and like, well, I'm sorry to say, now that you've outgrown the princess dresses, it's time for me to tell you what's really going to happen. You're going to be destroyed. Sorry, I know. It's a hard lot in life, but, talk to God about it. He's the one who made you a woman. What are you talking about right now, Blake? The world is not like that. So why would you put a heavy burden on your daughters to believe that the world is a place where they cannot succeed? Good luck to any of your kids. Crazy, weird speech. Crazy. And, you could feel the audience was not really with her. I mean, they clapped some, laughed a little at her silly jokes. She ends this harrowing speech in which she describes the fact that there's no way for success and God, wouldn't it just be great if we could just come pull together? She ends it by saying, but life is just a bowl of cherries. Tell us this whole story and then sort of just undercut it with life is a bowl of cherries. Blake, come on. So she did not endear the audience to her with that last line because she'd already asked them to go all to these ugly places with her and then ended it with that. It was just the worst speech I've ever seen. And, she's not making it better for herself. We've seen tons of her now post that all week long because her new movie's coming out. So she's doing all of this press for it and all of these events for it. And she really thinks, and Ryan is in her ear telling her this, she really thinks that all she has to do is make you forget by being around so much that you think she couldn't possibly have been guilty of this stuff, because if she was guilty of this stuff, she wouldn't come out like this. She's trying to gaslight you with her constant presence by making you think that she's innocent. A guilty person would scuttle away, but an innocent person would stay. So that means she must be innocent. I don't buy it.